Welcome to this lunchtime news broadcast where we highlight the news making waves across Namibia, ranging from current affairs, community stories, sports, and a whole lot more. I am Diana Master. Let's get into what you can expect in today's broadcast. Tough times ahead for tourism after visa bombshell. More than 2,000 people buried alive in landslide and dozens killed in Israeli strike in Rafah. Stick around, we'll be right back with our midday news update. Now in our midday news update, 73 Angolan women and children this morning packed their bags to leave the temporary shelter at Ndangwa National Youth Service Center, which is housing them for a month. A cabinet decision made by the Namibian government to get the group off the streets. This happened while Lucia Witbooi, the Deputy Minister of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security, was addressing the group, which refused to listen to her, citing that they're being kept against their will. The security official and policeman at the center locked the gate as the group screamed and threatened that they will climb the fence to leave. Stick around, we'll be right back after this short break with our visual news.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
And now getting into our visual news, we take a look at the first day of action at Expedition Africa Namibia, which commenced at the Yacht Club on Sunday in Walvis Bay. 68 competitors from 11 countries are competing in the multi-day adventure race over 490 kilometers and which serves as a World Champs qualifier. Live tracking of the event is available at www.expafrica.live. This video is courtesy of Expedition Live Africa.
Vibes are good. Okay, the nerves are set in, but the sea looks absolutely flat, beautiful, and just ready for a little bit of cold water and a beautiful sunshine.
Oh, amazing, hey, absolutely beautiful, my word, yeah, lovely to be here.
Everything is ready now.
We couldn't have chosen a better town, a better region, and a better country to do this event.
It's like paradise, and what a blessing. And most mornings are actually misty and cold, and here we were just praying for this day, and it's just, they're going to see flamingos, they're going to kayak to the seals. I don't think they know what they're going to see, and I think that's what makes me so proud. And this team, our incredible volunteers and team from this morning, you can go and see for yourself the work that has been going in to put this set up.
You've got to keep remembering to look up because you're sort of focused on racing. You need to remember to look around because it's so beautiful.
I came for the seals and the camel, so the things happen at the beginning of the race and at the end.
Nothing like a bit of sand and a bit of heat.
So far so good. The drones are testing us, but yeah, we're good. But the weather was perfect. The sea was beautiful. The seals were friendly. drone shot.
Now, Education Inspector for Walvis Bay, Teresia Joses, has called on prospective parents of grade 1 learners next year to attend a meeting that will be held tomorrow at Emmanuel Reuters Primary School in Kisipmund, Walvis Bay. This video is courtesy of Leandria Moore.
Speaking to you is the Inspector of Education, Walvis Bay, Mrs. Joses, coming to inform you about the meeting that will take place tomorrow. Tomorrow, 28 May, at 5:30 at Emmanuel Reuters Primary School. This meeting is only about procedures of enrollment for pre-primary and grade 1 classes for 2025. No enrollment will be done at this meeting. This is just a meeting where we will inform you and you will also tell us what we should do so that the people are not going to sleep for 3 to 4 days at the different schools. The enrollment, in fact, will be done at the different schools. But the meeting is in Kisipmund because most of our inhabitants are in Walvis Bay, are in Kisipmund, and that's the biggest venue that we can use at this moment. These are the two reasons why we are having the meeting in Kisipmund at Emmanuel Reuters Primary School.
Stay with us after the break. The Namibian Sun leads us into our newspaper review segment.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson, Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
Thank you for staying with NMH at 1. We now take a look at what the lead stories are in Namibia's daily newspapers, starting us off on the Namibian Sun front page. A cabinet decision to impose stricter visa requirements on nationals from countries that require costly and lengthy visa applications for Namibians has faced fierce criticism amid concerns it will impact the tourism sector. In a statement issued by the Home Affairs Ministry last week, it was stated that cabinet had granted authorization to the Ministry of Home Affairs to introduce any entry visa requirements to countries that have not reciprocated the favorable treatment granted to their nationals when visiting Namibia. It added that the government has now deemed it necessary to implement a visa requirement to ensure parity and fairness in diplomatic interactions. On the paper's page 3, although the government has approved a budget of over 800 million Namibian dollars for drought relief, President Angola Mbumba has appealed to the international community to assist Namibia with drought assistance. Speaking at the 14th edition of the Omagongo Festival at Onbango Village on Saturday, Mbumba said the Southern African development community has declared a drought situation, hence the call for support. Mbumba's appeal comes just weeks after Cabinet announced the implementation of the Office of the Prime Minister's 825 million Namibian dollar drought relief program for the 2024-2025 financial year. Moving over to the Republicans' front page, a cabinet decision to introduce visa requirements for citizens of countries that impose lengthy visa applications on Namibians has drawn heavy criticism amid concerns it will affect the tourism sector. This is the same as what was headlining the Namibian Sun. In a statement last week by the Ministry of Interior and National Affairs, Immigration and Security, the cabinet granted approval to the minister to introduce transit visas for countries that do not offer favorable treatment to Namibians when they visit those countries. On the paper's page 3, Mayor Gabriel Kanyanga says that despite Rundu buying power from NORAD, the power distributor's reinvestment in the town remains minimal. Kanyanga spoke during an advisory meeting with the Electricity Control Board ECB of Namibia and NORAD about proposed rates for the 2024-2025 financial year. We feel as if we have been colonized. It's high time to ensure that this practice ends and that the town gains control over its own electricity like Oshakati. We are in the process of establishing a company to replace NORAD in this regard. Of course, we appreciate the donors who provide funds to NORAD. We see NORAD installing lights here and there, but they rarely engage with the political leadership of the town. We see changes happening without any explanation, said Kanyanga. And now moving over to the front page of the Allgemeine Zeitung, as you saw in our visual news, Expedition Africa is hosting its first adventure race of this type in Namibia. Adventurers from 11 countries are participating in the race, covering almost 500 kilometers through mountain biking, trekking, kayaking, camel riding, and rope work. Success is determined by map navigation across 10 unmarked stages, emphasizing natural environmental awareness. The race awards medals and trophies, with the first mixed team earning a paid entry to the Adventure Racing World Championships 2024 in Ecuador. On the paper's page 3, a group of 13 Angolan giraffes was recently successfully relocated from Namibia to Iona National Park in Angola. This is part of an initiative to restore the park's biodiversity. Last year, giraffes of this species returned to their historical homeland in Namibia for the first time in over a century. The Angolan giraffe, also known as the Namibian giraffe, is found in northern Namibia, southwestern Zambia, Botswana, and western Zimbabwe. Since mid-2023, they have also been reintroduced to Angola. These giraffes are expected to strengthen the existing group. We'll now take a quick ad break and take a look at what's headlining the Namibian newspaper when we return.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
Now, according to the Namibian newspaper's front page, President Angola Mbumba has made a passionate plea to the international community to donate food to Namibia amid a devastating drought situation. He was speaking at the official opening of the 2024 Magongo Festival at Onamango in the Oshana region on Saturday. His calls come after Agriculture, Water and Land Reform Minister Karl Schlittwein told international delegates at a recent conference in Bali, Indonesia, that the country is facing its worst drought in 100 years and that 331 households so far have been registered for the government relief program. On the paper's page 3, major political parties which snubbed the presidential debate hosted by Konrad Adenauer Foundation in Windhoek on Thursday have been rapped for failing to respect the electorate. Political commentators say presidential candidates who skipped the presidential debate do not see the importance of leveling with Namibians in an open and transparent manner. Now over to the New Era's front page. Of 5 political leaders took part in a presidential candidate discussion in Windhoek on Friday to promote the general robustness of democratic and political discourse, as well as public participation and readiness ahead of the upcoming presidential and National Assembly elections. The event, hosted by the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung in partnership with the Namibian, was aimed at providing a platform for constructive dialogue and voter engagement as the nation prepares for the pivotal elections. Onto the papers, page 3. The Namibia Public Workers Union lost the battle in which it was fighting to have the Namibian Broadcasting Corporation be found in contempt of court order. The order restricts NBC from making decisions relating to employees' leave days and not salary increases. On Friday, Windhoek High Court Judge Herman Oosthuizen dismissed NAPW's application it had filed against NBC in March last year. In its application, NAPW, through its Secretary General Petrus Nevonga, accused NBC of not complying with the Labour Court's order of 3 December 2021. And now moving over to Market Watch. Now, according to Market Watch, the Namibian government recently introduced visa entry requirements for countries that have not reciprocated its visa exemption gestures. This means that foreigners from over 40 countries will not be able to enter Namibia without a visa if those countries do not reciprocate visa exemptions for Namibians, says Cirrus Capital economist Tanan Groenewald. Countries such as Germany, France, the United States and the United Kingdom are included. Since January 2015, over 70% of tourists have come from affected countries. The affected countries have also increased their contribution to the total number of tourists visiting Namibia. That brings us to the end of our newspaper review segment. After the break, we get into our economic news.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
In economic news, global demand for critical minerals, particularly lithium, is growing rapidly to meet clean energy and decarbonization objectives. Africa hosts substantial resources of critical minerals. As a result, foreign mining companies are rushing to invest in exploration and acquire mining licenses. According to the 2023 Critical Minerals Market Review by the International Energy Agency, demand for lithium, for example, tripled from 2017 to 2022. Similarly, the critical minerals market doubled in 5 years, reaching $320 billion in 2022. The demand for these minerals is projected to increase sharply, more than doubling by 2030 and quadrupling by 2050. Annual revenues are projected to reach $400 billion. Now let's take a look at the economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 23.38 to the British pound, 19.93 to the euro, 18.37 against the US dollar, and 2 Namibian dollars and 53 cents buys you 1 Chinese yuan. First Rand Namibia Limited stocks took a dip of 0.50%, while Lesego Holdings and Namibia Breweries Limited stocks took upturns of 2.50 and 0.03% respectively, while the rest maintained. All commodities are up. Gold now trading at $2,344.70 per ounce. Local index flows in an upturn of 0.12%, while overall index closed in a downturn of 0.05%. Stay with us. Right after this, we get into our African news.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
We now expand beyond Namibia's borders to give you the latest news from the African continent here on NMH at 1. Officials report that 10 people were killed and at least 160 villagers were kidnapped from Kuchi village in Nigeria's central Niger state. The attackers, suspected to be from Boko Haram, invaded on Friday night, targeting mostly women and children. Local hunters providing security were among the victims. The assailants, who arrived on motorbikes, spent over 2 hours in the village, cooking food, making tea and looting homes. Munya local government area chairman Aminu Abdullahim Mohamed Najume stated that the community is traumatized and desperate for news of the kidnapped. Amnesty International expressed deep concern on social media, criticizing Nigerian authorities for failing to protect lives. They noted that Kuchi has faced frequent attacks and abductions since 2021, often with ransom demands. Amnesty International called for urgent action to end these attacks and bring perpetrators to justice. Attacks in Niger State are increasingly common, with several villages targeted by ransom-seeking gangs last month. Now, in our next story, Burkina Faso's military rulers will extend their power for another 5 years following national talks that concluded with an agreement to prolong the transition to democracy by 60 months from July 2024, according to a newly approved charter. The duration of the transition is fixed at 60 months from July 2nd, 2024, stated Colonel Moussa Diallo, chairman of the National Dialogue process, after Saturday's talks. The charter, signed during the National Dialogue, meant to plan a return to civilian rule, permits elections to be held earlier if the security situation improves. The military, which seized power in a 2022 coup, had initially promised elections by July 2023, but prioritized security concerns. The new charter also allows military leader Ibrahim Traore to run for president in the upcoming elections and abolishes quotas for traditional party members in the assembly, favoring patriotism as the criterion for selecting deputies. The delay raises concerns about democratic backsliding in a region that has experienced 8 coups in 4 years. Burkina Faso has been battling a rebellion since 2015, leading to thousands of deaths and millions displaced. The military government, which took over in September 2022, citing security failures, has struggled, seeking security support from Russia instead. Currently, about half of Burkina Faso's territory remains outside government control. We'll now take a quick ad break and return and extend to the rest of the globe when we return.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
In international news this afternoon, a blast at a refugee camp in Gaza has killed and injured dozens, according to Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry. Videos show a large explosion and intense fires. The Israel Defense Forces IDF stated they targeted 2 senior Hamas leaders at a compound and will review if the fire spread to shelters. The strike occurred hours after Hamas launched 8 rockets from Rafah towards Tel Aviv, the first such attack since January. The IDF reported that the strike eliminated Hamas figures Yassin Rabia and Khaled Nagar in a precise airstrike in northwest Rafah. Hamas authorities said 35 people were killed and dozens injured in a camp for displaced Palestinians in a designated humanitarian safe zone. Women and children are among the dead, and the toll may rise as rescue efforts continue in Tal al-Sultan, about 2 kilometers northwest of Rafah's center. In our next story, a massive landslide in northern Papua New Guinea has buried more than 2,000 people in a mountainous Kaukalama village, Inga province, according to the country's disaster agency. The disaster struck at around 3 a.m. local time on Friday, leveling the village about 370 miles northwest of the capital, Port Moresby. Initial reports estimated 670 deaths, but the National Disaster Center confirmed the higher toll, citing significant destruction to buildings, food gardens, and the local economy. The United Nations International Organization for Migration, led by Saran Aktoprak, based their estimate on the burial of over 150 homes. More than 4,000 people were likely affected, with the area being a refuge for those displaced by nearby conflicts. 6 villages in Mulitaka region were impacted, and relief efforts are hampered by debris up to 8 meters deep and 200 square kilometers wide, cutting off road access and relying on helicopters. Survivors have been searching through the rubble by hand with limited success. 3 bodies and 6 survivors, including a child, have been been recovered, but hopes of finding more survivors are diminishing. Prime Minister James Marape stated that disaster officials, the Defence Force and the Department of Works and Highways are aiding relief efforts. Papua New Guinea, with a population of about 10 million, is prone to natural disasters located on the seismically active Pacific Ring of Fire. That brings us to the end of our international news. After the break, we get into our local and international sports news.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
In local sports news this afternoon, Namibia men's indoor hockey team dethroned the continental champion South Africa in a dramatic final at the Indoor Africa Cup at MTC The Dome in Swakopmund last night. A shootout ended 4-3 in favor of Namibia, normal time 3-all, securing the men's trophy for the first time in the country's history. Now, in a somewhat unexpectedly dominant performance, King Prize Cure Vintage Gymnasium triumphed 36-0 over Compact Timib Gymnasium in the only Standard Bank Under-19 Premier League match played on Saturday. And closing off our local sports news, FNB Unam held on to their status as log leaders and the only unbeaten team so far in the Namibia Rugby Union's Premier League, following their 57-11 victory at home against FNB Western Suburbs. Right after this, we bring you international sports news. Now, the Blues have failed their bid to rush back Burden Barrett for the summer rugby playoffs after the All Blacks playmaker was ruled ineligible for next month's knockout phase. Paris Saint-Germain finished the season with a domestic double after beating Lyon in Saturday's French Cup final, but will now start building for another assault on the Champions League next year, this time without Kylian Mbappe. And closing off our international sports news, Xavi Hernandez signed off as Barcelona coach with a 2-1 win at Sevilla on Sunday to close out the La Liga season, before warning his replacement the job won't be easy. The Catalans finished second with their campaign trophyless, but were at least able to triumph in Xavi's last match in charge after President Joan Laporta sacked him on Friday. If you're just joining us, this is NMH at 1, and we'll get into the highlights from today's broadcast right after this break.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
You're still with NMH at 1. For those of you that are just joining us, let's take a look at the highlights from today's broadcast. Officials report that 10 people were killed and at least 160 villagers were kidnapped from Kuchi village in Nigeria's central Niger state. The attackers, suspected to be from Boko Haram, invaded on Friday night, targeting mostly women and children. A blast at a refugee camp in Rafah, Gaza has killed and injured dozens, according to Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry. Videos show a large explosion and intense fires. And in local sports news, Namibia's men's indoor hockey team dethroned the continental champion South Africa in a dramatic final at the Indoor Africa Cup at MTC The Dome in Swakopmund last night. Those have been your highlights. Do remember to catch NMH at 1 every weekday at 1 p.m, spending your lunch hour with us, catching up on the latest news in Namibia and beyond. I am Diana Master. From all of us in studio, happy Monday.